Have you ever felt like the world was moving too fast and you were being left behind? Like everyone else was winning at life, while you were still just trying to stand? Let me tell you a story. In the 1980s, in San Francisco, there was a man named Chris Gardner. He had nothing. No savings. No home. He was a single father with a baby boy in his arms. Some nights, when there was no shelter, he slept with his son in the locked bathroom of a train station. Imagine that for a moment. Imagine holding your child close, praying he wouldn't wake up crying, because the world outside had nothing to give you. People walked past him every day, never knowing the battles he was fighting inside. But Chris Gardner had something powerful: focus. He didn't let the noise of the world, the judgment of people, or the weight of his circumstances steal his attention from one thing: building a better life. He studied. He worked. He refused to quit. And years later, he became a millionaire, an author, a man whose story inspired the film The Pursuit of Happiness. Now listen carefully. Chris Gardner is not different from you. He didn't have superpowers. He didn't have connections. What he had was focus. He knew that if he didn't protect his attention, his future would be stolen by distractions, doubts, and dead ends. And this is why I'm speaking to you today. Because while you are still growing, financially, spiritually, emotionally, you must learn the power of focusing on yourself. Because the seed of your future cannot grow in soil poisoned by distractions. Over the next few hours, I want you to walk with me on this journey. Together, we'll explore how to build financial strength without losing pace, how to grow spiritually while the world tries to break you, and how to live every single day with intention. But before we begin, let me say this. To all my amazing subscribers, thank you for being on this journey with me. You are the reason this voice exists. And if you're new here, I invite you to subscribe. Because here, we grow together, we stay focused together, and we win together. Now, let's begin. Think of a seed. Small, fragile, almost invisible. If you place that seed in healthy soil, water it, protect it from weeds, it grows into something powerful. But if you drop it in rocky ground, or allow weeds to choke it, it never grows. Your life is that seed. Your focus is the soil. What you give your attention to is what will grow. So many people waste years because they scatter their focus. One week they are chasing money. The next week they are chasing attention. The week after, they are distracted by envy, comparing themselves to strangers on the internet. But those who win in life are those who protect their focus like a treasure. They guard their attention like a shield. They know the world will try to pull them in 1,000 directions, but they stay planted on their path. Let me take you back to Los Altos, California. A young man named Steve Jobs was working in his parents' garage with his friend Steve Wozniak, while other young men his age were chasing parties, distractions, and applause. Jobs was obsessed with one thing: creating a computer that ordinary people could use. People laughed at him. They thought it was impossible. They thought he was wasting his time. But Jobs didn't care. He had something more powerful than approval. He had focus. That focus turned a garage project into Apple, one of the most valuable companies in the world. The lesson? While everyone else is wasting energy trying to do everything, success belongs to the one who can focus on one thing long enough to make it real. Reflection exercise. I want you to pause for a moment and picture your dream life. What does it look like? Is it financial freedom? Peace of mind? A home filled with love? A body full of strength and health? Now ask yourself this. How many distractions are stealing that dream from you every day? Every minute you waste in distraction is a minute you could have spent building your dream. Every argument you entertain with people who don't respect you is energy you could have spent creating your future. That's why focus is not just important, it is everything. Here's why you must focus on yourself while growing. Because growth is fragile. A seed is most vulnerable when it is just planted. A young tree can be broken by a storm that a strong oak would withstand. When you are still growing, financially, spiritually, emotionally, you cannot afford to give your energy to everything and everyone. You must focus on yourself. You must protect your growth. You must nurture your progress. People will not understand. Some will mock you. Others will try to distract you. But remember this, you are not here to impress them, you are here to grow you. In the quiet town of Vermont, there lived a woman named Grace Groner. She wasn't famous. She didn't drive a fancy car. She worked as a secretary for most of her life, never earning more than a modest salary. People saw her as ordinary. But when Grace passed away in 2010, the world was stunned. She left behind $7 million, all from smart, patient investing and living below her means. How did she do it? Focus. While others chased the latest trends, Grace quietly saved. While others spent their weekends buying things to impress people, she was building her future. She planted seeds of discipline, and decades later, those seeds grew into a forest of wealth. Her story teaches us something powerful. You don't need to earn millions to become free. You need focus and discipline. Why money slips away from so many people? Here's the truth. Most people don't lose money because they don't earn enough. They lose money because they don't focus on where it goes. They spend to impress strangers. They buy things they don't need. They live today as if tomorrow doesn't exist. But every dollar you waste today is a brick you could have laid for your future home. Imagine this. If you save just $10 a day instead of spending it, that's $3,650 a year. Invested over decades, that could grow into hundreds of thousands of dollars. All from the power of focus. Let's go back to the 1930s, during the Great Depression. Millions of Americans lost their jobs, their homes, their hope. But some families survived better than others. Why? Because long before the crash, they lived with discipline. They didn't spend recklessly. They saved. They built slowly. Those who chased distractions, living beyond their means, ignoring the need for preparation, suffered the hardest. Financial storms will always come. The question is, are you focused enough to prepare? It's easy to want everything now. A new car, the latest phone, expensive clothes. But discipline is the ability to say, not now. My future matters more than my impulse. Think about it. How many people in America today are drowning in credit card debt? Not because they are bad people, but because they lacked focus. They traded long-term peace for short-term pleasure. My friend, you must decide. Do you want to look rich, or do you want to be rich? Pause for a moment and ask yourself, where does my money go every month? How much of it is feeding my future, and how much of it is feeding my distractions? Write it down. See the truth with your own eyes. Because awareness is the first step to discipline. A few years ago, researcher Chris Hogan studied over 10,000 millionaires in the United States. You know what he discovered? Most millionaires didn't inherit their money. They didn't win the lottery. They weren't celebrities. They were ordinary people, teachers, firefighters, engineers, who became wealthy through focus and consistency. They lived on less than they made. They invested consistently. They stayed disciplined when the world screamed at them to spend. The truth is simple. Financial success is less about income and more about focus. Distractions that kill financial growth. If you don't control money, money will control you. The parable of the two farmers. Imagine two farmers. One plants his seeds carefully, waters them, and waits patiently for harvest. The other eats his seeds, spends them carelessly. And when the season of hunger comes, he has nothing left. Which farmer are you becoming? My friend, money is not evil. Money is a tool. And like any tool, it will either build your future or destroy it, depending on how you use it. While you are still growing financially, protect your focus. Don't chase trends. Don't live for appearances. Build quietly. Save consistently. Invest patiently. Because one day, the world will look at you and say, how did they do it? And the answer will be simple. You stayed focused while they were distracted. In rural Mississippi, a little girl was born into poverty. She wore dresses made of potato sacks because her family couldn't afford clothing. She was abused, rejected, and told she would never amount to anything. Her name was Oprah Winfrey. As she grew, life didn't get easier. She faced racism, sexism, and humiliation. But Oprah had something powerful inside her, an unshakable spiritual focus. She believed she was meant for more. She leaned on prayer, reflection, and a deep connection with purpose. Years later, she became one of the most influential women in the world. not just because of her financial success, but because of her spiritual strength. Her story reminds us that true growth is not just about what's in your bank account. It's about what's in your heart. You also need to understand that spiritual focus matters. You can earn millions. You can build a big house. You can have fame, followers, and all the treasures the world offers. But if your spirit is empty, you will feel poor. That's why so many wealthy people feel lost. That's why so many celebrities struggle with depression, addiction, and brokenness. Because spiritual focus cannot be replaced by material success. To grow spiritually means to be rooted in something deeper than money, status, or applause. It means finding peace when the storm rages, finding purpose when the world feels meaningless, and finding strength when life feels too heavy. The story of the farmer who neglected his own field. There's an old parable of a farmer who spent his days watering his neighbor's fields. He worked tirelessly to keep others' crops alive, but he neglected his own land. When the season of harvest came, he had nothing. His neighbors had fields full of grain, but his soil was dry, empty, and lifeless. The lesson? You cannot give peace, wisdom, or love to others if you have not first grown it within yourself. Spiritual growth begins when you learn to water your own soul. Here are some practices that build spiritual focus. Number 1. Silence and reflection. Take 10 minutes daily to sit in stillness. No phone. No noise. Just you and your thoughts. Number 2. Gratitude. Write down 3 things you're thankful for every day. Gratitude shifts your focus from what's missing to what's present. Number 3. Prayer or meditation. Whether you're religious or not, prayer and meditation anchor your mind. They remind you that life is bigger than your worries. Number 4. Reading and wisdom. Nourish your spirit with wisdom. Books, scriptures, poetry, feed your soul the same way you feed your body. During World War II, Viktor Frankl, a Jewish psychiatrist, was imprisoned in Nazi concentration camps. He lost his family, his freedom, and everything he owned. But he discovered something remarkable. Even in the darkest place on earth, no one could take away his inner focus. He later wrote, "Everything can be taken from a man but one thing, the last of the human freedoms, to choose one's attitude in any given set of circumstances." That's spiritual growth. The ability to rise above circumstances and keep your inner peace alive. Here are some dangers of spiritual neglect. Without spiritual focus, life feels like an endless chase. You chase money, but it doesn't satisfy. You chase approval, but it doesn't last. You chase pleasure, but it fades quickly. When you neglect your inner world, you become like a house built on sand. The moment the storm comes, everything collapses. But when you focus spiritually, when you root yourself in values, prayer, gratitude, and truth, you become like a house built on rock. No matter how strong the storm, you remain standing. Pause for a moment. Ask yourself, when was the last time I checked in with my spirit? Am I at peace, or am I carrying silent storms inside me? Am I watering my soul daily, or am I letting it dry out? Take a deep breath. Close your eyes. And whisper to yourself, I am growing inside. I am becoming stronger. I am at peace. My friend, remember this. Your spirit is your anchor. If you lose it, everything else will drift away. Focus on your financial growth, yes. Focus on your daily life, yes. But above all, focus on your spiritual growth. Because peace without money is still peace, but money without peace is torment.